Thank you everyone for being online for today's Kernel of Knowledge session. If you, Madeline or Dawn, if you can go ahead and advance the slide. All right, the Kernel of Knowledge webinar series comes from the National Network of the Greater Midwest, or the National Network of Libraries of Medicine Greater Midwest Regional Office. I'm Bobby Newman. I'm the Community Engagement and Outreach Specialist here. We're housed at the University of Iowa, so I had a very snowy and icy commute in on the way to work this morning. We do these webinar series as a one-off, and we usually host guest speakers like Dawn and Madeline. We are recording this webinar and it will be posted on YouTube a little bit later. All participants were muted upon entry. If you have questions, please use the chat box to send a message. I'll be monitoring that throughout the presentation, and we'll have time at the end for questions for Dawn and Madeline. Okay, next slide. All right, I'd like to introduce our two speakers, not take up too much of your time with my stuff. Dawn is the Outreach Services Coordinator at the Marion Public Library. She is a Marion native, and her work includes serving as the library liaison to multiple community groups. And she was instrumental in bringing senior meals to the Marion Library in the spring of 2018. And this year, she was named Librarian of the Year for the Iowa Libraries, right, Dawn? I don't see that in your bio, but I was at that presentation.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Madeline Jarvis is the Adult and Information Services Coordinator at the Marion Public Library. Her work includes overseeing tween, teen, and adult programming, collection development, and she wears many hats at the library. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn my video off and turn it over to you guys.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your help today, Bobby, and we really appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing here in the Marion community with the folks out there in Cyberland. And then, as Bobby mentioned, please do utilize that chat box. Dawn and I have some slides to share and some information to share, but if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do let us know. We're happy to have that conversation. So our presentation today is called From Movies to Meals, Senior Services and Spaces at Your Local Library. I'm Madeline Jarvis, and I'm the Adult and Information Services Manager here at the Marion Public Library in Marion, Iowa.
I'm Dawn Cline. I used to be the Outreach Services Coordinator, and now I'm Patron Experience Manager here at Marion Library.
And so we're going to let you folks know how we use our staff, programs, spaces, and collections to create the friendliest public library in the world. And here's a few examples of what our everyday looks like. We had a bad art night last February, and that's one of our participants. We used some weeded art books and invited folks to share their artistic abilities or lack thereof to create their own custom masterpiece. So there's Jackie demonstrating some of her skills.
And then we did e-reader assistance at the cafe, which is the Hy-Vee, the grocery store, local grocery store. We just sat in their cafe and just had people come to us and ask for help and just shared information of things that we can do. We strategically did that at a time like 9 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. So we knew who we were probably going to get as patrons coming to talk to us.
That was such an exciting opportunity, and we were very grateful for Hy-Vee's sponsorship. We both advertised that opportunity, and a lot of folks in the community had no idea everything that we were doing here at the library. One of the earliest questions was, is it true that you can rent DVDs? And I said, yes, and sit down with that smartphone. Let me show you how you can stream videos for free in 3 easy clicks without asking a grandchild. And then on the far right is our first murder mystery party. We do lock-ins every Friday the 13th for our adult patrons. And as you can tell, this was a little bit of fun. We always get a great intergenerational crowd, and we love that opportunity for our community to come together and be silly as well as to celebrate.
So the library, we did a new strategic plan, and our mission is, as it says here, to enhance lives through radical hospitality, service curation, and shared joy in the Marion community.
And then our vision statement is, we will provide an unparalleled patron experience. We facilitate access to the resources our patrons want when they want them. We are where our community chooses to gather and connect, and we are the friendliest public library in the world. So obviously, this is a leadership team that is dynamic, bold, and really excited about making a difference in our community's lives. So with this focus, we were really able to take a look into how we're serving our senior patrons and how we can best improve their lives. And so let's talk about what makes a senior. Depending on where you look, we'll see different definitions. The AARP says 55 plus. Another credible source, the Perkins Senior Menu, says 55 plus. Our partner, Heritage Agency on Aging, looks at ages 60 plus. We're going to call them our Encore community. And the U.S. Census Bureau doesn't federally recognize senior, but they say 65 plus is elderly. So here at the library, we say if you see yourself as a senior, you are a senior. When we advertise these programs, we might say something like older adult, we'll say senior, but we're not going to turn somebody away. So as we are taking a look at what adult programming looks like here at the Marion Library, we have done some shifts. We're working smarter, not harder, when it comes to the opportunities for our patrons. Since the fiscal year 2012, we've almost doubled our program attendees just by retooling what our programs look like. This shift comes from dedicated staffing when our senior patrons are free, looking at early morning opportunities like that Hy-Vee example, Monday morning meetups every Monday at 9:30, having a different activity, as well as looking at evening programs for that intergenerational collaboration. As we take a look at our special events, we do survey our patrons. If you haven't had a chance to look at Project Outcome, it never hurts to take a look at metrics and really figure out who is in your community and where are they going for what they need. Some of our more popular programming includes what we call hobby-based communities. We have some library-sponsored groups such as Scrabble Club, Knitwits, which is the craft group that Dawn named, and book groups as well. These works for libraries at basically any size. Absolutely. What you need is a dedicated table, and the community will grow from there. We generally put these groups in our conference room, but if there's a neighborhood coffee shop, if there's a quiet corner in the library with comfy seating, definitely take a look and see what are some activities that folks would be interested and engaged with, as well as our speakers and special events. Our patrons tend to be interested in local history as well as world events. Here in Iowa, we have a great resource called Humanities Iowa, where we're able to partner world-class educators with our local communities. So go ahead and listen to your community. Feel free to ask out to others in your community who work with seniors, whether or not they're librarians, as well as other libraries. And as we're looking at what we're doing for programming, it all sounds pretty fun. Murder mysteries and bad art and cheating at Scrabble when somebody's not looking, if you're anything like me. But we're doing more than creating that fun, friendly place. We're also helping to fight loneliness. I mentioned on the slide that loneliness is seen as an epidemic level. Over half of Americans have meaningful in-person interactions on a daily basis. So that means just a conversation with a friend and a family member, just feeling seen and valued as a person. And we see different health risks that come up alongside loneliness, things like clinical dementia, premature death, and the Bipartisan Policy Center, and I link to this in my slide notes, says that it's a bigger public health threat than smoking or obesity. When we began the Encore meals, Dawn, do you want to share that goosebump moment about loneliness?
We've had a couple of our Encore people who have, and we'll get into what Encore is exactly, but we serve meals to the seniors with partnerships with other entities in the community. But we have had one gentleman who came and said that he's not shared a new meal with anyone since his wife died 14 years ago. So that's pretty amazing. And then we had another gal who had not shared any meal with anyone since her husband passed away 7 years ago.
So it's about creating that space where not only can you come together to create community, but you can feel that safety to be vulnerable and admit something like that as well. I love the library programs that we all do because we see people come as individuals and leave as friends. We do a few different Monday morning programs geared towards this group specifically.
One thing that I want to mention is that we never say that it's for this community of people. We always just target it towards the times and the activity. So we never pinpoint that it's just for seniors.
And this is a great opportunity. We have a few different day groups as well who are a huge fan of our Monday morning programs. When I began my position in September 2015, there were movie Mondays once a month, and we got a really nice turnout of seniors, but by targeted marketing to senior facilities, to those day home groups, as well as taking a look at where are our seniors looking for information. We have expanded this to include a new activity every Monday morning, timeless trivia, so different trivia opportunities. Folks can challenge each other, and we always give out coffee cards or small prizes. Card Sharks, so different board games, as well as Puzzle Club, which actually spawned an intergenerational puzzle exchange here at the library. I love these programs so much. People call us in, and some of the more common questions are single people coming. As Dawn mentioned, there's a lot of widows and widowers in our community who are looking for a new low-key way to reach out and make new connections without feeling like they will be seen as an other as they come in. As well as Sentimental Serenity, which is through the Sentimental Productions product line that was designed for senior groups and libraries. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at their stuff, I'm a really big fan of it as a programming tool, and it's all pretty affordable. So that all sounds great. Can I come if I'm in my 20s? Absolutely. As Dawn mentioned, programs are designed with this community in mind, but all library programming is free and open to the public. And this harkens back to our strategic plan that we are where our community chooses to gather and connect.
Encore Cafe. Encore Cafe is a program that we were approached about, hey, where can we have the new way of having congregate meals? And I said, well, the senior population is in our library already, so we have meeting rooms, you should do it here. So after a few months of working with them and getting that program up and running, we have these meals here at the library Mondays and Fridays at noon, and at Loud Park, which is one of our big parks north in North Marion. They have them on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So we have meals catered by Hy-Vee, our Hy-Vee grocery store, catered by Hy-Vee 4 days of the week. And it's hot meals, it's a full meal, we've eaten there. It's a lot of food. The price for it is $5 for anyone over the age, a suggested contribution of $5. Anyone that is 60 or over, and just a straight flat $8 for anyone under. And it's very worth it. It's a hot meal, it's salad, it's amazing. The meals are just amazing. This is the first time, we're the first library in the nation that has had something like this in its library. It's fun, it's active, there's a lot of conversation. They just really have fun. Here in this picture, you can see some of our volunteers. We had Shucks, the mascot from our local baseball team, came. He and a couple of his friends came and helped serve. We are partners with Heritage Agency on Aging, Aging Services of Iowa, all kinds of United Way, all kinds of things to bring the volunteers in here. And as you can tell, this was in the summer. We have all different ages coming to help the seniors get their meals. It's just fun. It's just fun to watch this program grow. It's been crazy. We're serving anywhere from 30 to 70, almost 80 people a day for senior meals. We've also been named the produce giveaway place for Fridays. Once a month, we get a lot of produce and things from like Panera and Hy-Vee. So there's always something going on. It's crazy.
And I do want to mention, for those of you who aren't in Eastern Iowa, Marion's population is about 40,000 folks. So as our community is rapidly growing, population has gone up 46% since the year 2000. Pieces of our social infrastructure are still growing alongside it. Our community doesn't have a senior center. We are the senior center. Our community doesn't have a teen center. We are the teen center. I'm sure this rings true to a lot of the public librarians out in the crowd. So we have a lot of dynamic partners, and having the opportunity to kind of piece together what we do have. They have this grant, we have this space, we have the parking. So it's definitely a great opportunity.
Here you can see a couple of our lines of food. The bottom picture is Margaret helping serve coffee, and then the top one is just a couple of the diners just coming in and filling up their salad. You can see how the numbers have grown from when we first started, especially for us. It's kind of gotten crazy. Lau Park is just a little bit farther out, so I kind of expected this, that we would pick up a little bit more when the weather got bad. So it's just been it's been amazing. This whole concept is starting to get nationwide attention. There's other communities. I know there's one in Texas that's taking on the Encore name and doing the same thing. So this is really exciting.
And if you notice this slight decline in November and December, there were no meals for the week of Thanksgiving. There were no meals the week of Christmas. We have collectively at these two sites, Heritage has served about 5,000 meals.
Again, like I said before, meals are catered by Hy-Vee and designed by Hy-Vee dietitians. They include 2 entrees, a side salad, beverage. Sometimes there's dessert. We do ask them to sign up or pre-register to let us know what days they're coming during the week. And below here, we just have a little sample of our menu. So you never know. We get Chinese. We had a celebration meal for Christmas, and they kind of decorated a little bit more. We do Thanksgiving meals. As you can see, they serve breakfast. It's just so fun, so fun.
My personal favorite is that mac and cheese day. You guys, I would move heaven and earth for a Hy-Vee mac and cheese. So that is one of those days where we've had 80 to 90 diners. I do want to mention, and here's a picture of Virginia helping herself at the salad bar. This is all in a meeting room. We do not have a commercial grade kitchen. This is all catered in through the grocery store. Our multi-use space, it looks like a meeting room from the 90s. That's what it is. That's what we have to work with. But with our partnerships, with our volunteers, we're able to temporarily transform this into a dining center.
Another really fun thing is that you can see here on the sample menu is they do celebrate a monthly birthday, and they bring in a cake, and it's really, they do a lot of things and for the seniors just to make it really fun.
And at that site of pre-register, folks are just asked for their name, if there's any dietary restrictions such as low sodium or diabetic, and how many diners that they'll be bringing with, just so that we can have a head count. As we're into the winter months, we're seeing a lot more things like stews and casseroles on the menu as well. So it's the food that our patrons are looking for and enjoy.
So another thing that we do, I started with the Friends group, is our Homebound book program. They can, all they have to do is call us, or there's actually a spot online that they can just register for it, or ask for more information. We do have a staff member who helps with that, but how it works is the patron just has to tell us and sign on a sheet saying that they are homebound, and they will give us some ideas of the things that they like to read and the things that they would like to take a look at, or their interests, that kind of a thing, or if they have a favorite author. And then we will go pull books for them. We put them in a vinyl mailing bag and put it in the mail. We have somebody that takes it over to the post office and gets the postage put on it, and then the return envelope or the return card, it's just in a plastic clear pocket. So we have the postage for mailing it out and the postage for them to mail it back. all done on it, so they just have to flip the card. I hope that makes sense. So we keep, the bottom part you can see, we keep a card on file for each person so we know exactly what they have read. This is all funded through the Friends of our Friends of the Marion Library group. It's our circulation with this and our patrons who are using it is building and building.
And this is something that folks can do as a permanent method if they are homebound, or temporary as well if they would prefer to not drive in the winter, or if they have a major surgery or anything like that. This is something that does take staff time, but Reader's Advisory is something that our staff loves. And hearing the feedback from our homebound patrons and the other participants in the home book program makes it well worth our involvement.
We've also had a patron who was stuck at home with a child, a really sick child. So we would send her things and send her son some things in the mail too, just so they could keep that connection with the library going.
Because this is funded through our friends, we are able to be pretty flexible with our participants as well. If you recognize yourself as homebound or recognize that need within yourself or your home, and you live within our city limits, you're able to participate. We don't need a doctor's note. All we need is your library card.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that we keep in mind that our older patrons tend to appreciate is our accessibility. We are in a one-story building, and as we're talking about how to arrange our space, what can we best do, thinking about where is our large print collection, are there comfortable seats nearby, how can we make sure that this population who tends to look for a quieter browsing experience also has a social place if they want to come together and knit, if they want to come together and have a conversation without feeling like they're taking over the teen spot or vice versa. This is interesting as somebody who coordinates programs for teens and for seniors, making sure that they both feel seen, valued, and comfortable within their space. We also take a look at accessibility with format of material. Large print books can be expensive, but we have a large print collection, our CD book collection as well. And as we look at things like Overdrive and Hoopla, as we add in online resources and e-resources to experience ebooks and audiobooks, understanding how can this be adapted for everybody's use? How can I make sure that when I'm hand selling this to a patron, I show them the easy way to make the text larger or the screen dimmer or brighter, however folks will need it. We're also a popular browsing library, so we are very sensitive to patron requests. Folks can fill out a patron request at any desk or just simply online through their library card as well. We do see a lot of requests for books that are in large print, for books that we might not be able to get, but it's a great starting point for that conversation as well.
We've also switched over some of our online resources so that patrons can request there as well.
Exactly. That's through Overdrive. If you're able to turn that on, the recommend to purchase feature on Overdrive has been fantastic. We turned that on in June, and the number of requests that come through from our patrons really showed that our community was hungry for more information. But we're not done. Oops. So I'm sorry, friends. Let's take a look at our future plans.
Encore. As I discussed before, we have meals being served Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Our Tuesday has been left open to see where the need is, whether it's more here in our library or about 2 miles north, kind of out in the country a little bit. So we're waiting to see where people want to go most before we add another day. Yes, I did get a billboard. I was very excited.
Another thing we're looking at is how do we train our staff to best help our patrons? Take a look in your community and figure out who is helping and in which ways. We see a lot of job hunters who are looking for retirement side income or re-entering the workforce. So partnering with Iowa Works to learn about their resources and be able to refer. For instance, getting our staff certified with mental health first aid, or taking training on helping folks who are on the margins as well. And that crosses all ages. As I mentioned, we take a look at our programming calendar to try to figure out how do we offer programming in our limited space at the correct time when we're sharing a programming space with all ages from babies on up to seniors and older adults.
Another thing for our future with going with the collection flexibility, we're discussing now about changing a few of the shelves, and we're talking about moving a large print collection much closer to the front door, so those who have mobility issues don't have to go back so far in the library, which I think will be a very positive change.
So scalable lessons for communities who are larger than us or smaller than us. I would recommend learning from your agency's success. The lock-ins that we've had for our murder mystery parties on Friday the 13th were inspired by our teen lock-ins because the teens really love that opportunity. And when I say lock-in, I don't mean we're locking the doors and we'll see you in the morning. We call anytime we're open after hours a lock-in. So being able to model some of those game nights for adult patrons as well. Additionally, we have a lot of after-school kits and early literacy kits for our younger patrons. So taking a look at how do we catalog those, how do we market those as we're thinking about adapting them for places like memory care units. Another crucial thing is to identify and champion those community partners. On this slide, we have a city councilor having a conversation with 2 seniors in the Saturday council office space. And this is just our library's lobby. We let council know that we have this table, we have some chairs, and we have plenty of patrons, plenty of constituents. On average, we see about 1,000 patrons come in and out of the door every day. So it's an opportunity for council to interact with the patrons one-on-one. Another question to ask is, what do my patrons need to navigate their lives? And this is an example of it where I think it looks like Will is explaining roundabouts, just figuring out where are their questions. If you're not the person to help answer, how do you connect them to the people who are?
So scalable lessons for us is use community momentum, senior connections. That was a group that got together and we discussed what our community needed. How could we do this? What partners do we need to bring in? That kind of a thing. So senior connections was the group that this whole Encore Cafe built from. And we're still going. We're actually now in the discussion stage of getting transportation from the library out to Loud Park where the other meals are. So those who are really close to us here will have that transportation to get out there and get a full meal the other days of the week. So that's really exciting for them. We are user network to identify low-cost partnerships. It doesn't cost anything to call and ask anyone if they want to partner or if they can help or if they know someone that can help. Like for us, Library Talk, that's a listserv online. Humanities Iowa, which Madeline discussed earlier, they are a group that will come and it's a very small price for them to come and share their expertise, and they're really, really good programs. We had a gal come and do a deep talk about Nancy Drew. That was really exciting. We have some that will come and talk about the barn quilts. That's an exciting one that people just love the Humanity Iowa programs. We have all of our state library associations that we're always willing to do programs and webinars and things like that. Learn from them. You can share from them and learn new program ideas from them.
And again, your peers are not always librarians. We offer refreshments at all of our Monday morning programs, thanks in generosity to our program sponsors. There are community members who work for insurance agencies or medical groups who will donate the cost of a dozen donuts and come to hang out and learn a new card game. So if you are creating something from scratch, a cup of coffee goes a long way. We wheel over our carrying cart and have a few different K-cups and then a different event sponsor to bring in refreshments. And for somebity from, say, Humana, who sponsors our movie Mondays, to have that opportunity to speak with patrons before the movie gets started and spend $10 on donuts that you're not spending, because every dollar does make a difference.
Another thing that we did with the connection to Encore Cafe is Hy-Vee came and did mobile flu shots. So that was an easy one. That was a given. That was so easy. They just came, they brought everything. We just had to give them a table, and that was it.
And again, thinking about what do you have right now? We have a table. We have a parking lot. So sometimes that's all you need for a mobile flu shot clinic. We didn't even talk about HACAP. We're also one of the sites for our mobile food pantry, where we help between 40 and 50 families every month, including our seniors. We would also recommend touch base with your senior centers if there is one in your community. If not, see where those conversations are happening. Groups like Senior Connections. It doesn't have to be a formalized group.
Another really good place to connect is the assisted living residential places. There's a lot of them in our area, and they are a really good one to connect with.
Groups like Aging Services, Heritage Agency on Aging were the partners that were instrumental with the Encore Cafe success.
And then also National Library of Medicine is a good one to add in there.
Things as simple as reaching out for a webinar to learn more information, touching base with Bobby to see what resources are in your community and where you can plug in.
And then Madeline's favorite.
And then mac and cheese reigns supreme. I added that on because as we're printing out our Encore menus, I always tell folks when Mac and Cheese Day is. And when it's at the library, that they're able to see me. I'll be at Mac and Cheese Day or at Taco Bar. Figure out what you and your patrons have in common, champion it, and meet them there. We would love to continue this conversation as well. Please do reach out over email or give us a call at all. But at this point, if there's any questions or comments, we would love to continue this conversation.
All right, there we go. Great. Thank you, Madeline and Dawn. That was a great overview of what you guys are doing. I'm so impressed when I hear about this every time. It's just amazing. We do have a couple questions from the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and read these out for you right now. Somebody is interested in knowing who funds the meals that you provide.
The Heritage Agency got a grant to do that, a federal grant. So they do have hoops that they have to jump through to get that done. We contacted Hy-Vee to get an estimate or, a guess on how much it would cost for them to do our the meals. And they really worked with us. But through the cost of the people who are coming to eat, we're being able to keep that going. And from my understanding is it was a 2-year federal grant, and my understanding is that has been extended without an end date at this point. So I think, anyone, there's also the nutrition for seniors groups through your state. There's all kinds of things that you can contact to see what there is, but it was a federal grant that they received.
And although that $5 suggested donation is in place for folks over the age of 60, no diner is turned away. And that $8 fee for those of us under 60 also helps to subsidize the meals. This is I mentioned Mac and Cheese Day. There's a few known heavy hitting lunches with the Hy-Vee Chinese, Taco Bar, Baked Potato Bar, where you'll see a lot of younger diners as well. The library is about a block from City Hall, and so oftentimes we'll see a lot of community leaders come in to enjoy a meal together.
And it's nothing to see the mayor coming in to have lunch with our diners too. That's really fun. And library staff, we all have the menu posted by our desk. We know what lunch is coming. So the $8, like Madeline said, that does kind of offset some of the cost for those who just can't do the $5 contribution.
And that's great because I don't think you can eat fast food for $5 hardly.
Exactly.
Not like this. And there's a lot of food on your plate. Many of the diners just can't eat that much, so we do have to-go boxes for them so they can take those home as well.
We often will see a spouse of somebody who has mobility issues enjoy her meal with friends and then get a to-go box for her husband.
We had one of our former mayors for the town had knee surgery, and his wife came. He was sitting in the car on the way home from the hospital, and she came in and got both of their meals and took them home. So that was their meal for the day. That was kind of cute, I thought.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great resource. for everybody. And it's a good thing to feel like your money's going towards at that $8.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bobby, if you're ever in the neighborhood, we would love to take you to lunch.
I'm coming for Mac and Cheese Day. I'm sold.
Oh my gosh,
It's so good.
It's so good. It's funny because some people come because it's also sweet chili chicken day, but no, it's all about the mac and cheese.
And the people who come from Hy-Vee are always telling Madeline, we brought an extra tray of mac and cheese because you're coming.
I'm a little notorious at this point.
All right, next question is, what is your average monthly mailing cost for the Homebound service?
It's really not that bad. 6 months was about $600. So about $100 a month, probably at most. We do have some who love it so much. We send them 3 books. We have a maximum of 3 books each mailing. And we have some who we're getting those back within a week.
And this is a program where the testimonials we have captured, it is a little, so $100 a month might seem like a lot for your patrons, for your friend group, but feel free to get in touch with us. Dawn and I each have hand-carved wooden plaques of gratitude from Steve, one of our Homebound book patrons, and the stories that we get about folks who haven't read in years, but now that they know that you can get a Western in large print, like worlds have expanded.
You can scale that down by just, by the amount of books that you send or limiting them. At first we started with just print books, and now we have some who are homebound because of vision issues, and so now we're sending books on CD, all kinds of things. So you can scale it down and just send maybe one book at a time. So there are ways to scale that down, or you can buy bigger bags and send them a whole bunch, whatever you want to do.
And I do want to mention, if you are an Iowa user, the Library for Blind and Physically Handicapped also has a book program for those who are homebound due to vision issues, excuse me.
And I think a lot of state libraries have a similar program.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
If anybody else has questions, go ahead and feel free to send them in the chat box, either to everyone or to me. I see I have a ringer in the group. Somebody wants to know where they can get this great poster that's shown right here. This Because Fake News is Harmful to Your Health is actually a poster. It's part of a collaboration the National Network of Libraries of Medicine did with the American Library Association as part of their Libraries Transform campaign. And for those of you who are familiar with those because statements and all those resources, there are several, actually there's quite a few now because we've worked on with them for several years. There are quite a few of those that are available through their website, but if you're in the greater Midwest region, you can order those directly from our office, and we have other ones that say things besides harmful to your health, because libraries are partners in healthy communities, because language shouldn't be a barrier to health, because librarians can lead you on the path to healthy aging. So there's a really nice wide variety of themes for the stickers and the posters, and I think you can print out table tents and bookmarks from the ALA website as well. Yeah, there we go. We got a direct link. Thanks, Liz.
Nice.
Could you guys go back to the slide with your contact information? I think you're going to get some emails. There you go. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to write it down. Somebody wants to know if you're going to get participation certificates for continuing education. Yes, we do issue CE certificates from the Medical Library Association. This will be worth 1 CE hour. I will be emailing that link out when I send out I just noticed you guys are wearing matching outfits.
That has cassette tapes on those prints.
We wore them to an outreach event at a middle school, and the parents thought we were pretty cool. That's all I'll say.
Just the parents.
Yeah, I get it. Yes, I will send out the link for the continuing education, and it's also a follow-up survey, so any comments or feedback or suggestions you have, please take that. Expect to see that email within the next week or so, and that information will be in there. Any other questions for Dawn and Madeline? I know you guys mentioned Project Outcome, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling people this, but if I'm not, you didn't hear it from me. We are working with Project Outcome right now. The National Network of Libraries of Medicine is working with Project Outcome to add a series of health-based questions, a series of questions around health to their survey. So I think that announcement will come out sometime in the next 6 months, maybe a little sooner. I'm not directly involved with that project right now, but that's kind of exciting. So if you're doing health and wellness related programming, you'll have a set of questions specifically for that in Project Outcomes soon. Okay, we have another question in the chat. To do these programs, do you receive any problems with city or county library funding? So having issues signing this type of program?
I could see we have gotten questions about using consumables for a city budget, and because our program line comes from any program consumables I purchase come from the generosity of our friends at the library or our community sponsors. Those are the only questions that I have gotten so far. Encore is funded independently.
I know I've heard in other presentations questions about conflict with the community center or that kind of thing. And I think you guys said you don't have one.
Correct.
Yeah. And I know other libraries have partnered with their community centers or their senior centers to do things like this, because I think if you can talk to everybody and have a good partnership, it's pretty clear there's enough work for everyone.
And it can, yes, and like you said, it could be as simple as creating that partnership or starting that conversation. Our device advice at Hy-Vee could be replicated at community centers. We worked on this model with help from our friends at the Burlington Public Library as well. But figure out where your community is, where are people gathering and connecting. And we just sat at a table with our devices and had something scrolling through that you can take a look on Ancestry, you can take a look on Fold3. So how do you enhance their experience at the community center, at the senior center, at the card club, wherever they are?
Yeah. And I can't remember if this was said, for those of you that aren't from Iowa, Hy-Vee is a grocery store chain that's common here in the Midwest, in Iowa especially. Okay, so let's see, back to the group questions. Some people are having a little issue with county executives in the strategic plan. So it sounds like maybe those people don't think that health or maybe meals are part of the strategic plan. I'm not sure who's asking that question, but I think both Noah and I can probably, Noah Lenstra, who's dialed in, can help you with getting health as part of your strategic plan, so feel free to reach out. A question for Madeline and Dawn. Do you have any marketing tips beyond what you've covered?
Marketing tips. We do Facebook. We have the billboard, which they just put another billboard up, and I think it will stay there for 6 more weeks, which is awesome. It's that great big picture of turkey and dressing and vegetables, and that's, I mean, yum. And then the other thing that we do is we have a local newspaper that I send them the monthly menu, and then they print it. They print it in the newspaper free for the community, so they know what's on the menu with our phone number that says, you know, to register, just call. That is one thing that I didn't say. I just created a Google form where people can just call and reserve or get in their reservation for the meals. And we do take all the reservations for both locations. So we do get a lot of phone calls for that. And they always want to know what the menu is too. But those are, I mean, we put it on Facebook. We have the billboard. The city has a senior calendar that they added on. We have, like I said, I mean,
and as Dawn mentioned with Facebook, although a lot of these users are not on Facebook, when we do our Facebook advertising, we're often talking to the adult children. When we do like our Overwhelmed by Overdrive session, we didn't really mention, you know, how every year after the holidays, your patrons come into you whose adult children have gifted them wonderful technology and then left to go back home out of state. So when we were creating these class series, we talked to not only the patrons, but also those adult children who reach out as well.
We also have it in our newsletter here in the library, and Hy-Vee has table tents at their locations, and they also have signs and posters inside the grocery store letting folks know that it is available. And we also have posters in some of the senior centers, some of those senior living centers where folks still have cars and they can get around. There's posters so they can get themselves here. But I do see vans of some of these people coming once in a while.
And I want to mention that I would say that your best marketing tools are yourselves and your coworkers as well. Most of these partnerships came because Dawn and I just geek our jobs so hard and love talking about what we do. Our Encore menus are on display at a few family care centers as well, because I was getting my thyroid checked and I was chatting with the nurse about everything that we have going on. And she brought in a few of her colleagues and realized that what we do is an easier way to have conversations about things like nutrition and loneliness. If it comes from your library, it's seen as more of a friendly face than as a prescription. We reached out to the Family Caregivers Center, which is a resource from the Mercy Network that helps folks who are the caregivers of chronically ill or patients with memory loss as well. So just take a look, where are people gathering in the community? Where are your passions as well, that you can honestly talk and talk and talk, and think about, are you talking to the seniors or are you talking to the adult children? Those would kind of be my tips.
Through our through the grant that Heritage Agency had or got that received, they also had t-shirts made for us. So I made sure that every staff member at the library got a t-shirt that's at Encore Cafe, and their tagline is second chance to nutrition or something like that. So we wear it around. People wear it around. I gave one to my mom. We wear it around town and people are like, I've heard of that. What is that? So we get it, we're kind of a walking billboard, I suppose.
That's great. All right. Thanks, guys. Another question from the chat. For your puzzle club, how do you do that? Do you just lay out multiple puzzles, or do you do one big puzzle that everybody works on? Or
great question. We started by wheeling over a cart of 5 to 7 puzzles, anticipating folks coming who just wanted to do something on their own. What we have seen happen is there's usually 2 puzzles that the group will collaborate on. I bought puzzle mats from Amazon because we got the feedback from the users that they wanted to continue on with that specific work. I mentioned that this kind of spawned a puzzle exchange as well. Our Children's and Family Services Coordinator, Olivia, and I got together to figure out what other libraries are doing. Some folks go as far as weighing their puzzles with a postage stamp before giving them. But we're just doing a leave a puzzle, take a puzzle with some extra shelving that we have right now. The Puzzle Club program runs for about an hour and a half, which we have found to be that sweet spot where you feel like you're comfortable to come and gather, but you don't feel like you're bound by that time commitment. This is a program that we do see a lot of day groups come in for, as well as our senior population. We do have 2 seniors in particular who will come with a puzzle from home that they want to share. We hear comments like, I've been waiting to do this one, but it's just too much. So my recommendation for the Puzzle Club to get one started is buy those puzzle mats that you can roll up on Amazon, and just let your patrons know. Oftentimes there's a puzzle in the back of their closet that they'd love to do, or that they've just been looking to do a little sprucing up with as well.
So the way that I got the puzzles is I watched online, actually on Facebook, there was a marketplace. Someone was trying to sell a whole bunch of puzzles, and I said, I would love to have those and use them at our library. And she said, oh, it's for the library, just take them. So I got a big batch of seed puzzles for our programming.
And so this Puzzle Club happens the 4th Monday of the month, but during winter, during slower seasons, we'll have a puzzle table up front as well, as patrons just need a place to hang out. Maybe your wife is taking a little longer than you for browsing. maybe you're waiting for a ride for your kids or your parents to pick you up as well. So it's a really fun, low-stakes way to come together.
Excuse me. Great. Okay, let's see. Another question, before you go to cafes for device help, do you advertise at the library that you're going to be at the cafe for device help, or do you advertise at the cafe you're going to?
Both.
Okay.
We advertise here through our newsletters and Facebook and things like that. Sometimes we'll have somebody take a picture of us and put it right on Facebook immediately. Hey, come and see us. We're at the cafe. Or Heidi put up, like I said, table tents telling what time we would be there and that kind of a thing.
And we selected Hy-Vee as a partner because they're generous in our community with partnerships across agencies, as well as Dawn mentioned, this is where we've seen a group of older adults who come every morning for that cup of coffee. So we wanted to make them see that their library is beyond four walls and that it's everywhere in the community.
I also did mobile card sign-ups, so I would give people library cards at the same time while we were there.
Oh, that's great. Okay, that looks like all the questions from the chat box. I have an important question about the donated puzzles. Were any of them missing pieces?
Missing pieces?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I know. So, and you know, we expect people to come in and say, you know, there's 3 pieces missing. Well, that's fine. They didn't cost anything, so you can toss them. Goodwills, places like that, you can always get puzzles. Or here, we may save that puzzle that's missing some pieces and use it as a craft. Who knows?
Yeah. What kind of wait, I don't want to put you on the spot, but what kind of crafts do you do with puzzle pieces?
We have in the past. We've taken them and made little brooches out of it.
Ornaments, Christmas frames.
Yeah, spray paint them, put a pin on the back, you're good to go. All kinds of stuff, you never know.
Okay, great.
And for our after-school teens, we have a Franken program where we'll just put out craft supplies and see what happens.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Anytime we're browsing and thinking, oh, well, this is interesting, a lot of times we'll save it for a program like that.
All right, well, thank you. It looks like we're out of questions in the chat box and we're getting close to out of time, so that worked out pretty well. Thank you so much, Dawn and Madeline. This was a great presentation, and thank you everyone who was on the line again today. We appreciate your patience with our platform failure last time and getting it rescheduled. So, and we're glad you could be here for the rescheduled session.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bobby. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for watching. This video was produced by the National Network of Libraries of Medicine. Select the circular channel icon to subscribe to our channel. Select a video thumbnail to watch another video from the channel.